Oh, you can, so you can get ahead of the game. Under 9A, you can add BC Hydro letter. Oh, I'm sorry, you do texting? You're not actually officially started yet. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to acknowledge that we are privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwa speaking peoples, and we'll call the meeting to order. So we're going to, before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to make 2 amendments, please, and that is under 10B, a late item, BC Hydro letter, and 11 items to be made, items from in camera to be made public will be, our decision was made regarding museum operations and staffing. So I'll be announcing that. Any other additions to the agenda? And seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? Moved, seconded. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, so this evening we have the Regional District of Mount Washington is presenting their interim solid waste plan. We have Patrick and Carrie with us. And yeah, thank you very much for coming this evening. I will tell you that you may have 2 other councillors pop in. One is in transit from spending a week away, and we're not sure if the other one didn't catch the 6:30 start time. So they may pop in partway through, but thanks very much. Carrie, you can take it away. Oh, actually, did you want introductions?
Patrick may want to introduce.
Okay. Well, why don't we just everyone, I mean, everyone knows me, I guess. It's Patrick from the Mount Washington Regional District Operations Manager. So maybe if everyone sort of introduce yourself to Carrie, that might be of help.
Go ahead, Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie Barron.
She's the counselor. Gabby Wickstrom, the mayor.
Pete Nelson-Smith, the Chief Administrative Officer.
Hey, Derek Collier, probably remember you from the committee.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Great.
Okay, so I'm going to take over sharing the screen. Let's hope this works. And right there. There we go. Okay, it does work. And we'll go to slideshow. Okay. So I'm Carrie McIver, and I am one of the prime associates of Maura Walker and Associates. Maura Walker would be doing this presentation tonight, but she is, I think, on a sailboat heading up to Desolation Sound. So I'm not having such a great summer, and so I'm here in my home office giving you a presentation. Okay. I'm going to give you a brief introduction about solid waste management planning, the existing system overview, the proposed strategies and actions in this interim plan, the implementation schedule, the financial implications, and plan monitoring. So the objective this evening is to provide information on this draft interim plan, get your feedback on what's being proposed, and to ask you then to provide the regional district with a letter of support. So what is a solid waste management plan? A solid waste management plan is required by the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy. It is a long-term vision of regional solid waste management system. It's comprehensive for the next 10 years, visionary for 20 to 30 years. And most importantly, it considers the 10-year financial and administrative implications of the plan, including anticipated borrowing costs for new capital projects and cost recovery. And this is a big change. I guess to step back, I used to work for the Regional District of Nanaimo. I started there in 1989. I was, I think, the second recycling coordinator hired by a regional district in British Columbia. So I was involved in our plans being amended several times, and I can say that at the beginning of this process, many plans were really shelved. They were great documents, but they didn't go anywhere. But what has happened through the years is they've become really much more integrated with your financial plan, that when a board approves the plan, they're approving projects that will be going forward. So this is really a powerful document that follows the pollution prevention hierarchy of reduce, reuse, recycle, recovery, and residuals management. The planning process is a combination of a technical analysis by people such as myself and my colleague Maura Walker, and consultation with the Solid Waste Management Plan Advisory Committee, stakeholders, and the general public. The update process is completed in 3 phases, and that's in accordance with guidelines from the ministry. In the first phase, we assess the existing system. We establish the advisory committee. In the second phase, with the help of the advisory committee, we look at waste minimization, residual waste management, recommended options and financial implications, and prepare a draft plan. We're now in the third phase, where we're obtaining community and stakeholder feedback. You are a big stakeholder, and then we'll finalize the plan. Very large and comprehensive solid waste management plan advisory committee consisting of Regional District of Mount Waddington staff from all of the member municipalities, First Nations, private sector disposal companies, as well as Port Hardy Return It and Maui. So very comprehensive. So the existing system consists of a range of facilities. Some are operated by or at least most operated by the regional district, some by the private sector. And the kind of key facility is really the 7 Mile Landfill and Recycling Center, which is number 1 here on the map. In 2019, the regional district disposed of 7,840 tons of municipal solid waste. All that waste goes to the 7 Mile Landfill and Recycling Center, except for a small landfill near Holberg. So your per capita waste disposal rate was 643 kilograms. Now, the province has targets for regional districts to try to meet, but it's really their provincial target. And their provincial target is it's extended producer responsibility. They'd like to see 75% recovery of materials covered by EPR programs. That's like Recycle BC, which you are a part of. Organics, they'd like to see 75% of BC's population covered by organic waste disposal restrictions, and disposal, lower the provincial disposal rate, the average, to 350. So in 2017, which is the sort of most recent numbers that the province reports from the BC Waste Disposal Calculator, Mount Waddington was about 650 kilograms per capita, and the provincial average was 506. So you are better than some, but above the provincial average. So with that in mind, when we started the process in November, we came up with some broad goals. Continue to provide a broad range of diversion services, maintain the low contamination rate that you have with your curbside recyclables, improve education and communication about solid waste services, reduce the amount of food waste being disposed, reduce per capita disposal rate in support of the province's goal of 350, increase reduction in reuse activities, and tackle climate change through changes to the solid waste management system. However, once we started on this process, we realized pretty early on that really the future of the 7 Mile Landfill and Recycling Center was key to this plan. The 2008 Design, Operations, and Closure Plan is out of date. It saw the life of that landfill going for about another 50 years. But in 2008, it hadn't anticipated the level of recycling services that is happening at that site, as well as the amount of composting. And so if that Design and Operations and Closure Plan were followed, you would not have any space to do the recycling initiatives that you're doing and the composting at the site. So there is a real need to extend and expand the landfill lease. So we started focusing in the planning process to the status of 7 Mile, given that it is the cornerstone, and shift from establishing new diversion programs and infrastructure to confirming the long-term picture for 7 Mile, and based on the outcome of that, develop strategies for organic waste diversion. If you're going to start collecting food waste, Where's it going to go? Likely a composting facility at 7 Mile. Collection, if you're going to start adding other materials or expanding collection, where's it going to go? And then finally, also look at cost recovery. So it's an interim plan because the final plan requires the capital costs for the next 10 years. And until the future of 7 Mile is determined and a new design, operations, and closure plan is finished, we don't know what those long-term costs are going to be. But there was quite a bit of discussion and at the advisory committee and with RDMW staff to say this interim plan would really support the 10-year renewal expansion process because it shows where you are and where you want to go, and that the request to extend the lease and expand the lease is really towards a really good outcome. So this interim plan has a series of proposed strategies and actions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them briefly. I'm not going to read every one of them. What we've done though is we've highlighted in red those strategies that have a direct impact on municipalities such as Port McNeill. So the reduction and reuse strategy is to build awareness of reduction and reuse through events and campaigns that encourage behaviors that minimize waste. We're going to do that by increasing support to the self-management of organic waste, more backyard composting. Develop regional campaigns to encourage reduction and reuse behaviors. Identify and address barriers to the donation of food by businesses and institutions. Promote organizations involved in the reuse, repair, and rental of goods. Encourage that mindset for reuse. And in red, develop a fund to seed local circular economy projects. The organic waste management strategy is to expand composting capacity to include food scraps once the expansion of 7 Mile is confirmed. Excuse me for a minute. That is my dog saying she wants to come in and be an associate. Hold on. Come on, get in. Hurry up. Come on, you two. Hurry up. Come on. I closed the door so they wouldn't come in, but they've had their dinner and they want to get up on the bed. So sorry about that. So, but we're friends. Up you go. Oh, she's too tired. Okay. There we go. All right. So, okay.
Before you
So
move on, what is a circular economy? Can you explain that to me?
circular economy is basically one where if you bought a good, instead of throwing it away, it gets turned into another good. It goes around and around so that waste is no longer going to landfill. It's going circular. It's going around to make new products and services. That's really the current buzzword, is a circular economy, because it never goes to landfill. It gets reused.
The old OnCorp slogan, "Keep it in play," is
Yeah,
it's really summarized as a circular economy concept.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so the organic waste management strategy is to look at expanding composting to food scraps. The actions would be to develop a food waste diversion strategy in consultation with municipalities and First Nations. The collection strategy, to look at a collection system that allows for effective and efficient collection of all municipal solid waste streams and maximizes available waste diversion opportunities. Once again, that's to develop a collection strategy in concert with municipalities. So looking at the potential expansion of collection services, provision of recycling collection to multifamily buildings, collection of food scraps for homes, businesses, and institutions, and regional versus municipal collection services.
Can I jump in there, Carrie?
Sure.
On that note, it'd be nice if our municipal garbage collection contracts all lined up with the other communities. And then we might be more open to more bids on the service or different type of service. So I just want to mention that to our council, something that's in the back of my head. If seems like the contracts are all staggered, but if we have a strategy in concert with other municipalities, we might be better off.
That's actually a really great comment. A lot of a lot of regional districts have done that with their municipal partners to get it all on the same time. And I know Sunshine Coast Regional District put out an RFP for everybody, and they could all choose whether they wanted to be part of it or not part of it. but it was really much more efficient than everyone doing their own. So that's a really good thing with this collection strategy, that everyone should work together on the timing as well. The residential recycling strategy is really to maintain and possibly improve your current high level of participation in recycling and very low levels of contamination with your partner, Recycle BC. So some of the actions are to increase outreach to residents, to work with municipalities that provide curbside recycling collection to add what we call single family equivalent. They're sort of multifamily residences like townhomes and mobile homes that have a garage or have a driveway where they can put their recycling at the curb. Then there's the industrial, commercial, and institutional ICI recycling strategy. And there the strategy is to maintain and possibly increase current levels of ICI recycling through pricing signals complemented by policy and regulatory mechanisms, but recognizing that the markets for recyclables need to improve and expand. In BC, the recyclables that are collected at the curb under Recycle BC are recycled. I think I was just looking at the Recycle BC 2019 report, and they're at about 90% recovery. However, the industrial commercial markets are really at the mercy of the world markets, and they're having issues. So we're saying once those markets improved, extend the designation of controlled waste to other recyclable materials to reinforce expectation that they'll be diverted, and also to lobby the province to include ICI generated packaging and papers into the recycling regulation. This is one of the biggest issues. I'm involved in numerous solid waste management plans throughout the province, and the biggest issue is we're actually recycling our residential waste, but it's the ICI sector that's having a problem outside of the Lower Mainland. If you're in the Lower Mainland, it's still all right, but anywhere in the rest of the province, it's a real issue. Construction demolition CD waste is to continue to reduce the quantity of waste from construction, renovation, and demolition going to landfill. Once again, expand the definition of controlled waste to include items that are readily recyclable, such as clean wood waste, asphalt, shingles, and metal, and lobby the province to have construction materials part of an EPR program. Education and outreach support all aspects of the waste management system through effective and efficient application of education and outreach. And the actions will be to work collaboratively on communications with other key stakeholders on education and outreach to better leverage public dollars. So basically an interagency communication strategy on an annual basis. And this is where the regional district would be working with you. Shift use of traditional print media to use of online media, including online apps. Implement an educational outreach program targeting school children, and hire eco-ambassadors to do community outreach and direct community contact. For EPR, it's continue to ensure that EPR collection services are available in the regional district and support the expansion of EPR programs. The actions: 1, lobby the province to include ICI packaging and papers, mattresses, construction materials, and textiles into the recycling regulation. 2, lobby the province to expand the scope of hazardous materials included in the recycling regulation. And 3, lobby senior governments and product stewards to improve product labeling regarding recyclability. The recovery strategy, recovery is really the 4th R after reduce, reuse, recycle. And the plan is saying, be open to the application of recovery technologies in the future, because you really don't have enough waste to be considering some of the technologies. But monitor opportunities that could contribute in the future to your system. So we're saying continue to participate on the AVICC Solid Waste Committee that's looking into collaborative interregional solutions to solid waste management. So there aren't any, I think, cost-effective options now, but keep part of that committee. And then finally, for residual waste management, the key strategy is to secure the long-term disposal capacity at 7 Mile while maintaining space for recycling and composting. So the actions are, this year, undertake a landfill conformance review. So that's basically to see whether the current landfill is conforming to the new landfill criteria that came out in 2016. Obtain approval from the province to acquire the land adjacent to the current landfill that was formerly used by Modi for aggregate extraction. And when you get that approval to expand the landfill area, update your design, operations, and closure plan. And as I said earlier, that will have the long-term capital costs associated with that DOCP. The plan also addresses illegal dumping mitigation and says to continue to do the things you're doing and doing well, continue to assist with cleanup events, continue to clean up illegal dump sites, continue to not charge tipping fees on fine yard waste and recyclable items, and establish a budget to support illegal dumping mitigation. For wood waste and land clearing waste management, the strategy is to continue to accept wood waste at 7 Mile, but also support the operation of private and public facilities that can receive wood waste and process it for beneficial use. The actions are to assist local shake and shingle operations with identifying solutions for cedar wood waste management. The finance and administration strategy looks at maximizing the application of user pay for waste management services to ensure that the system is paid in part by those who use it. And that also incentivizes waste reduction, reuse, and recycling. But user pay has to be balanced with funding through property taxes to ensure that the system has a consistent source of income. So the action is to work with municipalities and other stakeholders to prepare a cost recovery and fairness strategy. And this strategy will be linked with both the collection strategy and the organic waste strategy. So the implementation schedule this year is to, Patrick has a lot of work on his plate. The landfill conformance review would be completed. The tenure would be extended for 7 Mile, and a new design operations and closure plan would be prepared, and the plan monitoring committee would be established. In 2021, collaborate on a regional education and outreach plan that would be with you. Research barriers to ICI food donations, add eligible multifamily residents to curbside collection, expand the list of controlled waste, and undertake a waste composition study in advance of developing the food waste diversion strategy. How much food waste is in the waste that goes to landfill? 2022 would see the completion of the food waste diversion strategy, the collection strategy, and the cost recovery and fairness strategy. Also the launch of the first regional reduction and reuse campaign, support for reuse events, an outreach program for schools, and improved data management at the landfill with an improved scale program. And then 2023 would be a food waste reduction campaign, a seed fund for circular economy projects, and then update the solid waste management plan because now you know what things are going to cost for the next 10 years. The financial implications of this interim plan, what we've done is we've taken the plan and plugged it into the regional district's 5-year financial plan, and it will increase expenditures going from 2021 to 2024, but they're really reasonable and they can be accommodated through a modest increase in taxes or tipping fees, but they will be reviewed pending the results of the conformance review, land tenure, and the design operations and closure plan. Plan monitoring, there will be a plan monitoring advisory committee. There will be annual reporting. There'll be a waste composition study, as I said, I think in year 2, and then a plan update to reflect the outcome of the 7 Mile tasks and the 3 strategies. So in summary, this draft interim plan will ensure that the regional district can continue to provide an integrated solid waste management service by confirming the future of the 7 Mile Landfill and Recycling Center, improve existing diversion services and behaviors through reduction and reuse, and looking to the future, prepare a food waste diversion strategy, a collection strategy, and a cost recovery and fairness strategy. And that's it. Any questions?
First of all, I'm impressed. That was very succinct. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have some questions, but I'll wait. I'll open it up to council first. Go ahead, Councillor Cole.
This might be a question for Patrick. We have a member from the regional district on the ADICC Solid Waste Committee. Is that like staff or the politicians? Or?
That's Dennis, the mayor from Alert Bay. He attends the meetings.
Okay, thanks.
Anne Marie, do you have any questions?
No.
I wanted to ask you, one was just a comment, so on ICIs. I've often pondered that one and thought, you know, if countries got together and said that they won't accept the amount of packaging manufacturers would have to change how they package to consumers. I've always wondered why we have to, like, why we accept what we accept. It's just a, just a point. Go ahead, Patrick.
I was just going to say when I got into the solid waste, because I really didn't have much, I had no experience actually until 2007 when this envelope was given to me. I would get very, very frustrated with the packaging, but I've also had to check the opportunity of doing a lot of research, and packaging is very, very complex because of the multiple needs and the benefits that go with it. One of the things that Carrie, though, mentioned, and I think is a really big one, and it's probably my biggest frustration with packaging, is the failure for labeling. I think if you had more effective labeling, recycling and the participation of the public within recycling efforts would go up significantly, because too often people are just overloaded trying to deal with all the subtleties of which goes where. And, it's something Carol will know I've been barking on in conferences for the past decade about we need to get more packaging. And, I think we've got to keep pushing for that.
Yeah. If I could add on to that, that just before giving this presentation, I was preparing a presentation. I'm speaking to my Rotary Club on Friday on why Nanaimo should still recycle, because everybody hears all the national stuff about things aren't recycled, and yes, they are in BC. So I was going over all of the newsletters that I'd had since 1989 and remembering when I started in this field. And, it hasn't really changed. That's the same message that, consumers and businesses should stop accepting the packaging. But it's kind of like we've got this double think where, in fact, it's probably the biggest think is we're consumers. I mean, we're buying it and we're pushed to buy it, and the packaging is exciting, etc. So nothing much has changed, I think, or not a lot has changed at the back end, I guess you could say, or the front end where we buy it. But what I do understand is there's been a lot of reduction in packaging in the supply chain when it gets to us, but we're not much different. I was looking at a presentation I did in 1991, and the question that was just given would have been given then.
Yeah. Okay.
30 years ago.
So you said at the onset, Patrick, that, and Carrie, that you were looking for a letter of support. What is needed and when is needed with that letter?
If we could get a letter by September, and we could develop a letter that would cover off the details, and if the town wishes to customize it more specifically, that would be fine. But I think that would be the best course, is we forward a letter to the Port McNeill staff, and that way you're not stuck trying to figure out exactly what is needed. So I think the onus is on us to give you a draft letter, and that'd be a good start.
Okay, great. So Derek, you're on that committee. We'll look for you to present that to us when it comes. And
Sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll look for that then. Any further questions? Oh, I think that's it. Thank you very, very much again, and it's been very informative. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. It's and as I said, standing offer for Port McNeill staff and council. If you ever want a tour of 7 Mile, last week we had a number of the Port Hardy Council, and we had really good feedback on that. So feel free to get in contact with me, and we can arrange. We just make sure you have some good rubber boots.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
really.
It was a good trip. Sorry, what was that, Carrie?
Really, when we had the tour and we started this process, Patrick's walking through the compost piles with his big high rubber boots, and we're just in our regular, we're going, stop. Yeah, make sure you have rubber boots.
Okay.
For sure.
Sounds good.
He's very enthusiastic.
Well, we'll let him wait out and he's got a loud voice that projects, so.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the wife says.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Okay,
Take care. Bye.
bye-bye.
I need to.
Leave the meeting.
Yeah, I did the tour out there. It's good information.
Assign a new host. Oop.
He just kicked her out there. That's an easy way. Ryan, yeah, Ryan needs to come in. Hope he wasn't sitting there for a long time. Well, he would have phoned.
Yeah.
So we can let, was Bill a panelist? No.
It's so slow.
Hi, Ryan, can you hear us? I don't know if you're going to be calling in through the telephone or if you can hear us well enough through your laptop, but at this moment, we don't see you or hear you. For Bill, who's in an attendee, just give us a moment here, Bill. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now, yeah.
There you go.
There we go. And we're just getting is Julian coming in later or no? Yeah, later. Okay. All
I
right.
think the meeting is just starting because I got my agenda this morning at, I don't know, 9:20 or whenever it was. And 20 minutes later, you guys sent out a notice changing the start time by half an hour. So I would like to add to the agenda meeting notices so that we can deal with it.
Just a second, Ryan. What you got this morning was the Zoom link, and last week it was sent out, the agenda was sent out with a note on it that said 6:30 start time.
We missed it too, Ryan.
I got a meeting notice this morning at 9:57 that said the meeting starts at 7 o'clock. That's what I got this morning. And at 10:20, there was another message sent out saying it started at 6:30, but I wasn't here at 10:20. I was gone. And so I would like that on the agenda. I think that when we set a meeting time, we can't be changing it from time to time. It doesn't work for
Do you
me.
have the agenda in front of you, Ryan?
Yes, I do.
The top of the page, it says 6:30 PM.
But that isn't what it says on my email this morning at 9:57. What time are we starting? We need to make a system and stick to it. We can't have all different times. It's not fair. Either the emails mean something or they don't.
No, there's a Zoom link that, sorry, I don't want to get into an argument. There's a Zoom link that you got that says, please note the early start time. I'm looking at it right now. The second one was the in camera that says it will start after. It said that one says 7 PM, but that says in camera. So that link, they have to put down an earlier time in case we finish really quickly. So that's what you're reading there. If you look, that says in camera, Ryan.
His point is valid though. If our meetings are 7 o'clock council meetings, I mean, I understand those.
Yeah.
I think we just need to start our meetings at the same time every week and stop changing it. Anyway, I'll leave it.
Okay.
I'd like it on the agenda, that's all.
Noted. I will just say that I'd asked them to come at 6:30 because the agendas are usually really long and lots of times it goes late. So I will make note of that and I won't start the meeting till 7 o'clock. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, adoption of the minutes. 4A, July 14th, 2020. Any additions or any amendments before we adopt?
Just
Go ahead.
the question there under the petitions and delegations. I don't think Leanne was here as a representative of North Island Crisis and Counseling Center.
That's correct, and she had made mention of that, so we
Yes.
will, yeah, we will adjust
We
that.
can just adjust
Yeah.
that. She happens to work for them, but
Yeah.
that's not who.
You're
Is
correct,
that-
and she did mention that at the beginning, so we will amend that. Just striking that and put Leanne Ruel to present, okay?
Thank you.
All right, and seeing nothing else, a motion to accept as amended. Moved by and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, minutes of July 23rd, 2020, Committee of the Whole. Any amendments? Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Minutes of the July 23rd Special Council meeting. Any amendments to it? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to approve, please? Okay, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Before we continue on, Ryan, can you hear us okay, or would you prefer to call in by phone?
Actually, the phone worked pretty good.
I just wanted to make sure that you don't miss part of the meeting, so whatever works for you.
Sure, I'll give you a call.
Okay, we'll just hang on for just a moment then till you call in. Yeah, don't forget to mute your computer, yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
All right, you there?
Pete? Got it.
Mute your computer.
You gotta mute your computer, Ryan, or we get the feedback.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Mute your computer so we don't get the feedback.
I've already done that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it doesn't show, but he's not feeding back, so it's,
Okay.
he must have done something. Thank you, Ryan.
No problem.
5A, email from Union of British Columbia Municipalities regarding request for meeting with Premier John Horgan or the provincial cabinet ministers. So I put this on the agenda to find out if council had any items that they felt we should be speaking to any of the ministers with. I will let you know, as a regional district, they will be meeting as a collective on the expansion of the community forest, tiered BC hydro rates. There's one or two items that have escaped me. But each year we'll go in as a collective because they feel it adds more weight to meeting with a minister. So yes, go ahead, Ryan.
I
Councilor
was
Mitchell.
wondering, you mentioned the tiered hydro rate. I really believe you're right. That's a very important issue as well. And would we meet both with the minister and with hydro on that topic, like separately? Because we have another request farther down.
Yeah, we probably would. I will make a note of finding out from the RD, but certainly we are able to meet on our own if we would like as well.
What about the old growth strategy?
Yes, I believe that was the other one.
Was that
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
RD? 'Cause if it's not on the RD, then, and if we have an opportunity to meet ourselves, I think we need to have that.
Strategy, yeah.
Do we know if the strategy will be out by then, or?
I don't think it matters. We still have to stay on the forefront of it.
I can find out and have a quick turnaround for you on that. We need to let them know by requests for meetings will continue to be taken until August 31st. So I will have a answer for you on those questions for the next council meeting. Okay. Councillor Cole?
Thank you. I wonder about the Ministry of Transportation. About getting like an actual paved shoulder on the way into town. You know, it's probably not likely to happen, but it's something we should be, I think, talking to the government about. You know, I can't really think of any other entrances to town that don't have any sort of shoulder at all for bikes. And I know we have to trail, but that really is different. So I don't know if that's something all of council can get behind or not.
would you mind doing a little report for the next council meeting
Sure.
and your rationale, and then we'll discuss it as a group?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Ryan, anything else? Councilor Mitchell, sorry, anything else from you?
No, I think that's really all I had in my mind.
Okay, I will have the answers from the RD meetings to you and by the next meeting, and we'll discuss the possibilities if we're going to have any. So B, letter from BC Hydro regarding to meet with senior leadership. Should we address that as well, or do you have, was there an issue on our own that you wanted to speak with them about? Okay, so I'll just leave that there as well, and we can look at, we have until, sorry, what's the deadline to meet?
August 4th.
August 4th. Yeah, so we don't have much time. So if something comes up, that's fine. If not, we can address it through the minister on a minister meeting because we have more time for that.
So is that something that council has to initiate, or can each individual councillor respond to that?
Well, it's coming addressed to council.
Because
Do you have a particular issue you'd like to bring forward?
well, I think, whoa,
You mute him? You can.
Yeah, you can. Just you go to the upper corner. There you go. There. Okay, go ahead. You should be fine now.
Okay, I agree with the tiered rate, and I'd like to bring that directly to Hydro. Because they're an independent crown corporation, so we need probably to deal with them, because that's probably what the minister is gonna tell us to do anyway.
Tiered rate discussion. Okay, how does council feel about arranging a meeting with BC Hydro to discuss that?
So the RD will have a meeting with them.
Well, I'm not sure. I have to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, I can find out tomorrow, but
Because the other thing we had the ear of Hydro that I'd be curious about is where exactly they are in the realm of maintenance, repair, replacements for the north end of the island, because we seem to be getting more frequent outages across the board, and these shut everything down so we can replace kind of things. So I don't know if that's at that level or if there's someone at a lower level that can explain that to us, but it just seems like it's happening more and more. So are we at that point where the system's,
do you know what?
good dollar chunk
Yeah.
spent on it, or like what's happening?
So to me, the way I understand from this email and the way I have experienced with Ted Olnick in the past is they're, I wouldn't say casual meetings, but they're very open meetings. So since they're not won't be scheduled till September 14th, I think it'd be appropriate a motion to direct staff to arrange a meeting for us, and that gives us lots of time to prepare for September 14th. So just one moment, and so a motion for staff to arrange an appointment
I'll move that.
with Ted Olnick from BC Hydro. NYK. Olin, oh, actually, it's Olnick. Olynnyk. It's weird spelling.
You know, just look council in there.
Yeah, it's motion for staff to arrange an appointment for council on September 14th. There you go. With Ted Olnick, BC Hydro. Oops, that's okay. BC Hydro / BC Hydro. There you go. Okay, and then you're seconding that, or are you moving that, Ryan?
Sure, I'll move that,
Okay.
or I moved it, I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on that then? So I think it was myself and Ryan was the seconder, yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you. Item 5C, email from Clean Energy BC regarding proposed amendments to the Clean Energy Bill Act. Move for discussion? Moved, seconded. Okay, what's your pleasure with this? Council?
You see the file?
We're looking for a letter of report, no interest, or letter of support? Got a motion to receive and file? Seconder on that motion?
I don't think I'm, to be honest, but-
Yeah, I did a little bit of research, so I read through it, and there are small IPPs, independent power providers, public, power providers who are providing power to BC Hydro, and I will be honest, I didn't get a chance to read through that entire other report that they referred to, the starts with a Z. Anyways, they dispute what was in the report. And so they're looking for a letter of support so that, in principle, I do agree with them that, you know, the province is looking at getting cheap power from the United States. And anytime they've ever negotiated something with the United States, we usually get shafted. And I was curious as to see what, how this is going to affect people like Brookfield, for instance. So when are they looking for this for? Just give me a second. Scribble on my notes.
Complicated issue.
It is a complicated
And
issue.
we got one side of it here, so.
And I also did some research and I was not able to find out who their funders were. That's always, I'm always interested in that, who's funding these organizations. But anyways, there's a motion to receive and file. We can leave it at that. And a seconder for that motion? Receive and file for information? Okay. Any further discussion on it? No. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, item 5D, minutes from the July 9th, 2020 Harbor Advisory Group meeting. Move for receipt. Seconded. Sure. Anything you wanted to add before we vote from the meeting? As
We
a
had another meeting 2 weeks later, and we have another meeting next week, and another meeting 2 weeks after that.
Okay,
And hope to have something to council by middle of September.
fantastic. Great. Okay, all those in favor of receipt? Opposed? Carried. All right, item 7A, Fire Department report for May and June. Receive and file, okay. Seconder? Any questions? Is Dean here at the meeting? No. Okay. All right. All those in favor of receipt? Opposed? Carried. Item 7B, Public Works report. We do have Julian with us this evening. Hello, Julian. So any questions for our Public Works manager from the report? Anything you wanted to add, or is it pretty self-explanatory? You okay? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Damn, just got in from the dog walk and I'm, yeah, sorry, just
Okay.
late here. But yeah, I would just like to say that that's actually May's report. So there's a bit of an error there. We
Oh,
may recognize that from last month.
oh, okay.
Apologies for that, and I'll get the report to you. It's already done, but I'll get it to you for the next council meeting.
I do have one question for you, Julian.
Yep.
How are all of the extra COVID sanitation things going, protocols and all that?
Pretty good. It's just slowing things down as far as, you know, accomplishing the amount of work that we want to get done. We are sanitizing all the picnic tables and benches and all of that sort of thing, the high touch areas around town, like at least twice a week.
Mhm.
So so far so good. We do have our, like, the safety plan, the COVID safety plan or whatever, we're putting into place, like, as far as like how many people are in the vehicles and wearing masks and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's just slowing things down, but it's all good so far.
Okay, thank you. So I'll move for receipt of the Public Works report then. Moved, seconded. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay. Item 10A, council reports. Ryan, you said that you had some, sorry, Councillor Mitchell, you said that you had something you wanted to bring up. Did you want to bring it up under council reports?
Are we talking about the addition to your agenda on this third time? That's the only thing I mentioned.
Okay, sorry, I thought that you wanted to add something to the agenda. Was that what you wanted to add?
That's correct, and that's taken care of.
Okay, I'll take note of that and try not to do that in the future. Any council reports verbal to do? No? Okay. All right. And then BC Hydro letter. So I sent it out earlier. This is a late agenda item because we just got notified of the power outage, planned power outage that's coming on August 13th. And I have heard from a few businesses as well as through the regional district. Other mayors and municipalities are a little concerned with the fact that there's a planned power outage on a Thursday and a long planned power outage. So I drafted a letter earlier today and looking for council approval to approach BC Hydro to see if they can choose an overnight outage or perhaps a Sunday, though our CA, in just casual discussions with the CAO, there may be a reason such as the use of a helicopter that might only be able to get on that day. I'm not sure what the work is, but just looking for approval to send the letter in to BC Hydro from council.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, and seconded by Anne Marie. Councilor Cole? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually not in favor of the letter. Like from what I know, BC Hydro, and I worked with them a lot at the hospital, like if they can do it at night, they would do it. And I think just a casual call to TAD to get a reason first is probably a good idea before we send a letter like this.
Okay. Fair point.
Like, you know, at least ask them for a reason before we sort of.
Okay, so we could do an amendment. A motion to contact BC Hydro regarding timing of planned outage and letter to follow if necessary. Would you feel comfortable with that?
Sure.
And would you feel comfortable with the amendment, Ryan, since you seconded it?
You bet.
Okay, that's a fair point. We should make a phone call first, find out exactly why.
And it's coming up real quick, so
Yeah.
I think for them to put the brakes on it. Not be realistic, but good to let them know how we feel.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Opposed, carried. Okay, thank you very much. Item 11, so items from in camera to be made public. There's one thing, and that was in an in-camera meeting, a decision was made regarding museum operations and staffing. We do have an item again, 12A, need a motion to go in camera under section 91C, labor relations and other employee relations, and 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages.
Sure.
Yep. By Anne Marie, seconder. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Questions from the, looks like only media. Bill, have you got any questions for us?
Ferris Bueller. Bill.
Bill, wake up.
Seeing none? Usually you type, oh, here we go. Sorry, I missed the solid waste portion on the agenda overview recording. Okay. About council talking trash. That's a good one. Okay, so motion to adjourn the meeting and go in camera. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Julian, before you go anywhere, I don't know if Laura sent you the in-camera Zoom link, but we'll be going into a separate meeting.
Sorry, I need some dinner. Apologize. Yes, you did.